Hey everybody, this is Sandra, and today we've talked about before the apple spice jelly. So today I'm gonna make the apple spice jelly because Tanya said we're down to the last jar, and
it is the last jar and it's open.
So she ain't having it, okay? Okay. But once again, so simple, y'all. Okay, you're starting with 4 cups of 100% apple juice, no sugar added. Okay, and the spices that I'm using, and you can do it however you want to, but it's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then I also add a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. That's my own addition. Anyway, yeah.
Y'all let her know if y'all like them them bowls, cause she kind of proud of them.
I know they just plain bowls, but okay, Kimberly look better, look more professional.
She keep talking about them bowls, so y'all let her know if y'all like them.
As long as I like them. Anyway, and 6½ cups of sugar. Now I know it seems like a lot of sugar, but like I said before, most people just gonna use maybe a tablespoon at most on some toast. We ain't talking about Tanya. We talking about most people.
You ain't talking about Tanya.
Okay. And then my sure gel. Like I said, if you're using sure gel, use 2 packages. If not, it might be a little watery. And it might end up being some simple syrup. Okay, it already cooked it on. Anyway, so I'm heating up my juice with the spices. Okay. And just gonna let this heat up. Once it heats up, then I'm gonna add in my sure gel. Yeah. And those I said sure gel, I did not say clear gel. They're different things, even though as far as canning you use both of them, but they do different things, and you end up with different textures too. But you kind of have to go by when you talk about sure gel or rather pectin. Some people make their own pectin. I haven't gotten that grown yet. I've been debating if I want to do that or not. There's a lot of steps involved in making your own pectin. But you can make. They usually make it from apple peels, like the apple peels and the apple core of the apples. That's what they usually make it out of, and it's a long process. From what I've been gathering, I'm talking about 2 hours just to make the pectin, but you get to make a whole lot of pectin though. Economically, it makes sense because you're using leftovers. Most of us don't do too much with our apple peels. You know, if you have animals or livestock or whatever, you might give that to them, but other than that, you generally just throw it away. But like we said from the beginning, this is we're growing, okay? We're learning what we should be doing. But one day I probably will try it, but I'll try still. I know Tanya ain't about this life, but I'll try still. if it's very involved, that's usually me, okay?
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for all that.
Yep.
I'm over 100. I'm trying to make every minute count.
Well, heck, I'm right behind you. 2 years. Both of us over 100. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, let this continue to heat up because I don't want to bore you guys too much. So I'm going to add, after this start heating up, I'm going to add my sure gel and bring it back to a boil, and then let it boil for a minute. And when I come back, well, after I let that boil for a minute, then I'm gonna add my sugar all at once. Then let it come up to a boil again for another minute, and then I come back in. Because the rest of this stuff will count on. Like I said, this stuff is simple, y'all. It's simple. Nothing that we're doing is complex. Okay. Anyway, see you in a minute. Okay, everybody, I came back so you can see. This is why I use um, a big pot, even though it's really not a whole lot in there, but you need the space. So right now, I've added everything in, my sugar and everything. Oh, my timer went off. And cut the heat off. Okay. With Sure Gel, you get a lot of foam like this, okay? When it settles down, I'm going to skim off the foam. Now, if you don't want to do that, there is an alternative to that. You can add in a tablespoon of butter or margarine, and it would cut down on it. Now, I've tried it once before, and I really didn't care too much for that because I could see a little bit of the butter floating around in my product. So I really just skim it off. Okay, that's what Sandra's doing. Okay, but anyway, I'll bring you back in a second after I skimmed all this off as much as I can and start canning the jars. Okay, we're back, and it's cooled down enough. Well, it's slowed down enough anyway where I can start canning my jars. So if you notice, I'm putting mine in pint-sized jars. That's because I've noticed when we use the jelly jars, the half pint size, we can go through it so quickly. So I'm just not going even, okay? But if you use the jelly jars, like I said, the 8-ounce jars, or sometimes they call them half pints, make sure you, when you water bath can them, that you water bath for 10 minutes, okay? So by me using the pint size, I'm going to be processing mine in the water bath for 15 minutes. Also, in this container, this is what I skimmed off the top, okay? This is my first jar filled up, and if you look inside the pot, you see how high it got when I put the pectin in, the Sure Gel pectin. This is why, like I said, this is why you need a larger pot. So I'm going to go ahead and continue because, you know, I can't do all this with one hand. I do have my vinegar right there, and to clean off the lid of my jars. Also, make sure you always check your jars, okay? Because we've gotten to the point now where we're reusing our jars, even when they're brand new. You need to check your jars, make sure that there's no cracks or chips in them, especially around the mouth of the jar, because you need the lid to adhere to the top of the jar, which is the whole purpose of the water bath canning, because that's how it makes the shelf stable. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and finish filling my jars, and when I come back, I'm going to be taking them out of the water bath canner. And yes, I do have my jars heating up, so I'm predicting it's going to be 4 like it was before, because I'm using the same recipe before. I think I ended up with like 3 and not quite 1 full one. So it might end up being like 3 full jars to end up being processed, okay? So anyway, I will be back when I'm done. Okay, it's been 15 minutes plus additional 5, because you know it's processed for 15 minutes, boiling, not a rapid boil. You want a soft boil, okay? As long as your water is at least 1 inch over the head of your jars. So anyway, after the 15 minutes, then you cut the heat off and you let it sit for another 5 minutes, because you want to slowly bring down the temperature, okay? You don't want to shock your jars. Anyway, as you can see, I ended up with 3.5 pints, which is what I ended up before. So you hear the pinging, that's what you want to hear. Yay! Anyway, so I guess Tanya's happy now. She has her spiced apple jelly. I think we're going to start calling it Auntie's apple jelly, because when I say Auntie, my kids call Tanya, well actually they call it Auntie. We're in the South, okay? It's Auntie really, but I think we're going to call it Auntie's spiced jelly. spiced apple jelly. Something like that. Anyway, Auntie gonna be in it somewhere. But like I said, it's delicious. If you love apple pie, it tastes a lot like apple pie. So anyway, until next time, y'all. See ya. And we'll see what's next. I think I'm doing ground meat again, because I made some mistakes before. Anyway, I think it's what I'm doing today or tomorrow. Whenever I feel like doing it, you know. Next time, peace out.